evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever you are. Even if you're in the morning, you grab a cup of coffee, or if you're in the afternoon, maybe a whiskey will do it.
That'll do it.
We often talked about technology. We often talked about AI. We often talk about the technology that we're using in the sales side, but we never talk about the people behind it and the people who are really using it and driving the force behind these technology that we're using today. And today we got the honor to speak to one of those guys who's in the middle of it and taking advantage of, Mr. Adam Myers. Mr. Myers, welcome.
Thank you.
Energía que Vale.
Appreciate you having me on here, man.
And I am grateful that you're here.
Likewise.
Before we start talking about technology and the works and how are you using it, let's talk a bit about Aaron Myers, where you're from. You're super young. What are you doing in Florida, selling energy in the middle of the state? What are you doing here? How long have you been in Florida?
To give a little context, I've been in Florida around 5, almost 6 years now. So I've been acclimated to Florida. I've driven on I-4 enough to now be considered a Floridian. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyways, I've been here for like 6 years. I moved here from Indiana, and just to kind of add to that, in Indiana, there is zero solar, and I think it's kind of funny that I'm an Indiana country guy that works in Florida selling solar now, and I didn't know a thing about it 6 years ago. So yeah, I'll kind of give you some context to how I got there. When I was young, I was always kind of like the entrepreneur type where I wanted to make my own businesses. And my parents, they gave us a good upbringing. My dad, he had a good job, and he gave us everything that we needed, but he didn't give me everything that I wanted, as most of the time they do.
Yeah.
So anyways, they instilled in me a good work ethic, and they told me, if you want things, you got to go out and work for it. And at that time, the only thing that I wanted was, they had just come out with it. It was the iPod Touch. I was like, everything that I ever wanted.
Top of the line.
Exactly. That was it, man. So yeah, I was on this mission that I had to get that. And so yeah, 12 years old, I started going around, and I would knock on people's doors, and I would ask them if I could mow their yard for free.
For free?
For free. I'm like, yeah, can I mow your yard for free and show you that I can do a good job, so then later I can earn your business? And eventually I scaled it up to something that was decently large for being 12 years old. I was mowing 10, 15 yards. And I took that and kind of ran with it. When I was 18 after high school, I grabbed all my high school buddies, and I'm like, who is crazy enough to move to Florida with me and start a landscape company?
Indiana?
From Indiana. And everybody looked at me, and they're like, you are crazy. I'll probably see you back here in 6 months. Except one guy, my buddy Thomas, he was like, yeah, let's go do it, man. So we started a landscape company. I ended up selling it to a different company. And then that's kind of how I got into the solar industry, because I was looking.
So you came here at 18, right after high school.
Yep.
With the idea to establish a lawn mowing business. And you did that. You bring Thomas, you bring that business from the zero to whatever, and you sold it.
Yep.
Wow. What age you sold the business?
It was max 19 then.
So a year and a half later, you sold the business.
Yep. And then just to put it simply, the company that bought us, they were like, we don't really want any of your equipment. All of your equipment sucks, man. But what we do want is, we know that you have a bunch of contracts, and we would love to pay you for those. So that was sort of our exit. And then after that, I'm trying to figure out what is a low overhead business that I can start where I don't have to deal with all the liabilities that I formerly had owning a landscape company, which is crazy. Yeah.
Gotcha.
You got people driving around with things with blades spinning on the bottom of them. I mean, it's an insane liability.
Correct.
Insurance is crazy high. So
you got into a solar company doing what? What do you started at?
It's a good question. So I go in there to the interview, and I talk to, I still remember his name, and I go in there and I talk to this guy, and he's like, yeah, man, I know that you've got sales experience, and I tell him that I've just exited this mowing company, and I'm like, I've got some cash, man. I had this exit and everything. And he's like, good. Do you know anything about solar? I go, I don't know a freaking thing, my friend. I go, I've seen them on my clients' houses, but I don't know a damn thing about solar. And he's like, okay, cool. So what you're going to do is you are going to start knocking doors. And I go, how do you mean by knocking doors? He goes, it's canvassing. I go, what's the difference between the two? And he's like, nothing, it just sounds better. He goes, yeah, you're going to go out, and you're going to knock on doors, and you're going to find people who want to buy solar.
What was your thought process when he was saying that?
Well, I was sitting...
knocking on door in Indiana, Florida, solar business,
I
knocking
thought,
doors.
at the first, the first thing that I heard, I'm like, there's no way that I'm gonna go knock doors. I saw myself as like as a business owner. You know what I'm saying? So I had seen on the Indeed application they had put like Tesla Maximo, or
Yeah.
they had said Tesla Maximo Solar, and I'm like, well, I mean that says Tesla, so let's check it out.
Let's check it out.
And yeah, it didn't really turn out what I thought it was going to be, but I'm very happy that I started door knocking. I took the job, and I ended up just door knocking for like 3 months straight, every single day. And I learned very quickly what people do not want to hear about solar. So I was able to tell people when I got into their houses what they wanted to hear, and it honestly made me the closer that I became.
So you learned through trial and error the first steps into the business, the energy business.
In essence, yes. Yeah, I had a lot of good trainers. Like I'll give a guy credit. His name's Richard. You know, he was sort of like my mentor on how to knock doors and whatnot. And after he showed it to me, I really just took it and ran with it. Like you said, kind of ran through trial and error to figure out what works and what doesn't.
awesome experience for such a young fellow like you. So you sell your business, you go to Maximo to knock doors, you make numbers there, you get some taste of what this industry is capable of doing, and then what?
So I vividly remember when I'd gotten my check and I had closed in 1 week. Well, I didn't close them. They were, doors I had knocked that had closed. I had closed
Somebody else
four
had closed their deals.
Yeah, somebody else was closing them, and I had closed 4 in a week. And I get my check, and it was like I got like a tier up bonus or something. It ended up being like $2,000 for the
For a week of work.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good. And then I called my cousin who helped me start the landscape company, and he also was sort of involved in solar. And I'm like, hey, I got paid like $2,000 for these 4 deals. And he's like, you are getting ripped, man. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm getting ripped? I'm like, $2,000 isn't that bad.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm like, that in my head, I'm thinking in lawns, and I'm like, man, that'd be like 75 yards, you know? No, that's pretty good. So at any rate, I talked to him, and he's like, you're getting ripped, man. You should be doing $4,000 to $5,000 per deal at a minimum. And he's like, he goes, what does the guy who closes your deals drive? And I'm like, he drives a really nice Range Rover Velar or something. And he's like, yeah.
You're paying for it.
You're paying for that. And I'm like, no kidding, man. So later on, I go in and I talk to my old director at the time, and I tell him, I'm like, hey, man, it's either I close my own deals or I'm going to have to go do it somewhere else because I can't go on just giving up this money that I know I'm missing out.
I'm going to interrupt you right there and then because making leads and closing your deals are not the same game.
Not the same game. And I quickly found that out.
And I was going to ask you about that experience because people seeing us here, they're knocking doors and they want to do their own deals. But you and I know what that does. What that does when you're not ready to cook and you start cooking, things go wrong.
Bad things happen, exactly.
So what were some of the experience that you had when you try that? I'm going to do my own.
It's a good question because I see it happen all the time to people that I manage. So I think it's funny because I see myself in them. I did the exact same thing. I'm like, I know I can close. I don't need any trading.
I want the 5Gs.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, just give me the bank and give me a quoting platform and I'll go in there. So he's like, okay, man, you want to do that? Go for it. So he gives me a quoting platform. I remember I go to my first sit down and I didn't fully understand net metering. So I'm talking to the person and he goes, well, how's solar going to work during the night if I only use my energy during the night and it produces energy during the day? And I didn't know how to explain net metering. So I'm like, well, you know what? That's a pretty darn good question.
And you look like...
I looked like a goofball, yeah. So anyways, I go back and Derlin's like, okay, you need to have some time with one of the good closers. Go out, close with them, split your deals with them.
So the deal is that you need to educate
You need to educate yourself, exactly. And after that embarrassing moment, I did nothing but research. I feel everything about solar for the next month or month and a half. So I felt confident, and then I also had a closer who could go with me and help me out.
And that's pivotal. That's key to understand where you at, when you at.
Exactly.
Salespeople, we want to go ahead and earn the money when it's not earnable yet, if that's a word that exists.
Yeah,
right?
exactly that concept.
Because we try to cut corners for some particular reason. We're wired thinking, and it's only a thought.
Exactly.
It's never reality.
I'm like, how hard can it be?
How hard can it be? And it's like golf. I should have. I could have. I know I can do it.
Yes.
Recognizing that you're not ready, it's one of the toughest and most honorable parts of being a sales guy.
So true.
And if you don't get ahead of yourself, if you don't have a good mentor, if you don't have a good company, if you don't have that team that is telling you, yo, you're not ready yet, not because you're X, Y, or Z, it's because you're going to lose money at the table.
Exactly.
They're trying to help.
I would have been better off with my $2,000 a week than in the following week, because I didn't close it, I made nothing.
Yes, probably took you 3 to 4 weeks to understand.
Exactly.
Trial, error, go back, accept the reality that you're not ready, get a closer there, make some money, and it takes 2 or 3 weeks before you know it.
Exactly.
People get discouraged in the very beginning of this process of this energy industry. When they do a couple of deals, they get paid, they want to do more, and they get frustrated because not seeing the results. And that's a clear example of it's a little bit of working, it's a little bit of educating. It goes one step at a time until you can make it.
Exactly.
I'm interested in knowing when you've worked with operations, sales, what is specifically attracted you to the energy industry? Yes, you came here by chance, if you want to call it somehow, but at some point, somehow you got hooked.
Yeah.
What was that moment like in your seat?
It's a good question. So, I mean, part of the reason that I always found it cool is because my dad, he does software development, but he does it for energy markets in the Midwest. So, like, I've always been intertwined with this idea of, like, my dad worked with energy markets, and I've always been kind of intrigued by it, but I didn't fully understand it. So when I became a closer at the other company, I found that it was an opportunity that I could learn more about it. And then once I understood how, I guess, like, how technical it could be, I sort of enjoy technical things. So I got super excited when I would sit there and I would start typing in the electric bill, and I would try to calculate how much the system would produce. And a part of me was like, you know, this is almost very similar in my eyes to what my dad is doing. So I was like, you know, I think that this is something that I can continue to do. And then the part 2 to it is after I sold probably my first 10 systems and they got installed, and then I went back to those clients, I feel a sense of pride when I go back there, and I know that I'm the one who is responsible for that being installed on that house, and they're actually super happy with me and with the product, and that's sort of what got me hooked long term. So it was like, I got this intro which made me feel comfortable, and then the long term is really the benefit to everybody else, and I guess the opportunity not only to help a client, but then furthermore, what I'm doing now is helping sales reps start to build their own careers, and I find that amazing, like taking somebody from 0 to 100.
I was going to take you now 5 or 6 years after the conversation we were having. Now it's 2026. You've been a very successful guy in the developing teams, processes, and you are a big fan of technology.
Absolutely.
You've always been. You're one of the smartest guy I know in that field. And a few years ago, we started talking about AI, artificial intelligence, and chatting about it, how to use it, how to do this, how to do that. How do you are using the AI technology? What is it that you're using it for? What are the results that you're getting? Are we monetizing some of it? Do you know somebody that is actually monetizing it? And how it's helping sales help them do our business?
Question. So I feel that one of the larger misconceptions about ChatGPT or AI or whatever model you use is I feel that people, they kind of limit the tool to their understanding of what the tool can do. So for instance, like I know a lot of people that they think that it's only useful for rewording an email that they're going to send to a coworker, for instance, right? That's like their most useful case for ChatGPT. And then there are others on the opposite spectrum, which is kind of myself and some of the other people that I've been working with, who are looking at this and we're saying, I think there's a unique gap over the next 5 years where we know AI is capable of building websites, we know AI is capable of building workflows, we know it's capable of building pages that have massive amounts of SEO on them to optimize your search results. Like, we know that it can do that, but there's a gap over the next 5 years where some people know about that, but not everybody. And eventually, everybody will figure that out, and they'll know exactly what the tool's capable of, and then at that point, the market's flooded. So my recommendation to anybody right now is try to figure out what the limits of the tool are. Like, back in 2023, November of 2023, I was building out this large CRM and infrastructure for a big company. And I didn't have like all of my coding skills together yet. I didn't know that ChatGPT or these AIs could do it. I was like, well, let's just see. So I type into it and I go, can you write me a code to do X, X, Y, and Z? And it goes, sure thing. It spits it out. And I'm like, I'll be darned. So then I try it again, and I try it again, and I try it again. And I feel that it's easier to name what AI can't do than to list off what it can do, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I see that as a potential angle. And just to give people some creative ideas of how they could actually utilize this, it could be as simple as, you know that when people are buying solar in 2026, they're buying leases, right? So along the vein of leases, what do you think clients are looking up on the internet? What about the lease might they look up?
They might be looking at cabinets for the kitchen, a home project. I imagine they will be looking for, I don't know, information about availability of solar panels or energy, or they will be looking for that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So take all of those concepts that you just mentioned, right? And for instance, like a big one that I've noticed is people will look up what are like the specifics of the lease. So like, is it a 2.9 escalator? Is this 2.9 solar lease escalator good for me? These are the keywords they're typing in on Google. So how can we now leverage that to either A, monetize it or get leads from it? Well, your answer is you go to ChatGPT or Claude AI and you type in a prompt and you go, can you make me a solar calculator tool that could help clients calculate how much the lease is going to cost over the course of 25 years? Can you calculate what the 2.9% escalator would be on this payment over 25 years? And then imagine you build out a giant calculator for it. And then you pack that calculator with keywords on the bottom of it that are answering questions they may ask. So you tell Claude AI, like, hey, load this up with SEO data that people may look for that are high intent keywords.
Wow.
And it spits out, is a solar escalator good for me? Is a solar lease good for me? Is a solar lease 25 years? Now every time somebody searches Google, they land on your page, which is a calculator, which now can be turned into a lead capture, which then you can monetize.
Wow. So let me translate this into my English. So I have a website, right, that I want to drive traffic to. I'm an energy guy, so I want to, drive traffic to that.
Exactly.
And you're telling me that I can use a bot, ChatGPT or whatever provider you want to use.
Exactly.
And build a lease calculator.
Exactly.
And this lease calculator will give the customer enough information to be dangerous.
Exactly.
And that would be your page.
Exactly.
And me as a customer, I will feel comfortable if I go there 1 or 2. 2018.
Exactly. And then you get their info, and now you start targeting them.
You see what I'm telling you? Write this down, because this is the information that we need to understand how we can monetize that. And what company or resources are you using to help you navigate in these experiments that we're doing? Yeah.
Yes.
Are you using somebody that you trust, or this is you on your own? How does this work?
It's a good question. So, like, the first step to this is you get the HTML or the code for this website. And then the second step that everybody has a hard time answering is like, where do I put this code so now everybody can see it? Does that make sense? So my answer to it is I've been working with this company. They're called Level Up Experts. You can they're local to Orlando. They work directly with people in Florida. You can look up online, Level Up Experts. But they're the ones that I'm using to kind of host all of these different pages.
Oh, nice.
So then they're accessible on the internet to people.
Nice.
Because if you just make it in Claude AI, it's just sitting in Claude AI. You
Yeah.
gotta publish
You got to put
that
it to
page
work.
some way.
You got to put it to
Exactly.
work.
Yeah, so that's the way I've been doing it.
How do
been
you
working with a good team
envision
there.
the near future, let's say the next 12 months,
Uh-huh.
that AI revolution inside in sales? Because at the beginning they said, no, these agents are going to kick salespeople out of the business.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think that's going to happen. What is happening in the industry is that AI is helping sales be more efficient,
Exactly.
get the admin out of the way, the admin work, and be more focused on the actual selling of products and services. So that's what's actually happening in the energy industry right now. I know very few people that are actually monetizing the AI. In the company that I work, they're monetizing the AI. And they use, consultants and the works. There are not many consultants to do AI. This is a fascinating conversation, Aaron. I love that you are giving us these tips. This is not the last conversation that we're going to have about AI and sales and implementation.
And one thing I don't want to interrupt you. One thing I want to build off of, because you were saying, you asked a good question, like where is this going to go over the next year? And I want to give some caution to some people, because I agree with you that I don't think the threat is an AI bot taking your job. But what I do see happening in the next year, which you can almost quote me on this happening, sales will become utterly more competitive because people have vastly greater resources than they did in the past.
More data.
More data. They have more everything. Like you have more support. You almost have
Info.
like an admin at all times, right? So I feel that the industry will get entirely more competitive, and I feel that would kind of push people out of sales more than anything. So I guess my final statement is make sure you don't get left behind, and make sure that you use this so you are one of the people that are on the winning side of it, per se.
So in translation, if you're sales, use AI, learn about it.
Learn about it.
Make sure that your funnel is taking full advantage of the use of AI. High Level Experts is one of the companies that can help you, but there are many companies out there. Don't be left in the dark with AI. Be sharp, be smart, and be tough. Thank you for joining us in Energía que Vale. Aaron, thank you very much, man. It's been an honor to have you here. We'll be in touch because we got to learn a lot about AI. Until next time, guys.
Sweet.
See you. Sweet.